Hi guys, welcome! I'm your Dungeon Master, DM Paul G, and today we'll be talking about, we'll be reviewing a Dungeons & Dragons Adventurers League module, Fester and Burn. What is a D&D AL module, you ask? It's basically a short adventure that follows the AL rules. You can DM it, you can play at any table that runs this module as long as they follow the AL rules. You can also run this for homebrew sessions. If you want to take a short break from your long campaign, you can totally do that. But just need to remember that this module was written with the AL rules in mind. So there will be some encounter adjustments that you will see in this particular module. So just take note of that. And actually, those things are actually helpful for you as a DM anyway, so there shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, this is part of the Tomb of Annihilation season. It's under Season 7, basically, in Adventurers League. And this is the 6th module that came out. There are 3 modules that came out last December 2017. And this is the first out of the 3 modules that actually has an overarching story. So this is for Tier 2, meaning level 5 to 10 can play it, but it's optimized for 5 level 8 characters. If you wanna die, of course you're not gonna die. But, well, no, there's a good chance that you will die in this module. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. Let's check out the details about Fester and Burn first. So, this particular adventure is set in Port Yanzuru, which is located in Chult, more specifically beyond the walls of Port Yanzuru in the old city that is currently being ruled by the 7 beggar princes, kind of a mockery of the 7 merchant princes in Tomb of Annihilation. But yeah, it is ruled by the 7 beggar princes, and one of them, Pockmark Po, which is actually a contact for the Zentarim faction also, is the one that will give you the quest for this adventure. What's happening here, you ask? Basically, there's a tavern owner that's currently missing from the old city, and Pockmark Po really likes this NPC, and he wants you to save this person. Now, he already sent a group of adventurers before you, but unfortunately, they haven't returned yet. So, now he wants you to save the NPC, and then also save the group of adventurers that came after her. If you fail, he'll probably ask another group of adventurers to save the NPC, the first group of adventurers, and then your group. And then if they fail, he will send another group to retrieve the NPC, the first group, your group, and then the third group. But what if... Anyway, so yeah, that's basically what will hopefully won't happen. You guys will succeed in this mission. But the villain here is kind of like a necromancer. Well, I said kinda because that's one of the downside of this particular module. There are kind of parts in the story that doesn't connect. But here, in Fester and Burn, the villain is introduced as actually, not introduced, but it looks like there is a necromancer that ordered one of his lieutenants to... There you go, that's the right term, I think. To go to Port Yanzuru and get more powerful adventurers that can lead that necromancer's undead army. So, there will be a lot of undead in this adventure. Bring a cleric. That's a pro tip right there. Trust me, it will save your lives if you have a cleric in your party. There. Fester and Burn is a 2-hour adventure, but again, as with most of the AL modules, it's really hard to fit in this adventure for 2 hours, but there are tips in the adventure itself that tells you which parts you can skip if you are running with a limited time. What's good about Fester and Burn, though, is there is a great balance between social interaction and the encounters. And since there's not much of a dungeon exploration here, there is... I think I can say that there is a dungeon here, but it's not really fleshed out. However, the author made a clever way of bringing you to where the bad guy is at after entering the dungeon. So that's really cool. And I was saying, the first part, there's actually 3 parts in this adventure. The first part is basically where Pockmark Poe, the Beggar Prince, will give you the quest details for you to see what the old city is like as well, what's going on there, what's not to see, actually, and decide if you are lawful good or not. Basically, there is a decision there that might question your alignment. But it's all good. It's all fun. Doesn't matter what your alignment is. You will have fun on that part. But that's mostly social interaction that's going to happen there. Once you go to the second part, this is the deadliest part of the adventure. What's the great thing about this is that the Fester and Burn, the author has given the dungeon masters options of which monsters they will throw at the characters. But there's one option there that's super hard to ignore, and they're basically on they have flaming stuff, and when you see this, let's hope that you survive. That's all I can say. So that particular option, it's hard to resist as a DM, but it's fun to throw at players, especially if you want them to just get disintegrated. Actually, that's not the right term. But yeah, there's a high chance of players dying or characters dying in that particular part. But once you survive this, now you will go to part 3, which is more of going into a dungeon where you will meet a very funny NPC that looks scary as well. And this is more of where a skill monkey will come in and ask you guys to do something for him. And in return, if you do it successfully, you might you can go to where the big bad evil guy is located. He will guide you there. If not, then there's a chance for you to get a story award. Yay! And so yeah, but don't underestimate. I said that the dungeon is not fleshed out, but it's not a very safe dungeon at all, as with all dungeon, I would say. So be careful with that as well. As I said, skill monkey is very important on this part. And that's basically it. That's it's in 3 parts, easier to run. As a dungeon master who's gonna read this module, I would say that this is actually the best or the strongest one out of the trilogy for Tier 2 of Season 7. How it was written, balance, and the opportunity that you can give to players for social interaction, combat, and checks or rolls, making them roll for ability checks and so on and so forth. It was greatly written for a 2-hour module. And as I said, the author was also clever in terms of, not fleshing out the dungeon, but still finding out ways for you to look like you have explored the dungeon. There. There are a lot of monster stats in this particular module. And basically most of that is because of the first group of adventurers that came in to try to save the tavern owner NPC. And you don't really have to use it, but it's there just in case. Just in case you need it. So again, lots of details in this adventure. Now, the downside. There are two parts that I'm not really a fan of in terms of, and this goes on, I would say, not for this adventure alone, but for the trilogy for Tier 2. So the 6 to 8 adventure, that's kind of having this problem because it's supposed to connect one after the other. There's supposed to be like a main hook or main story that you're gonna know more as you progress through those different modules. But there are some disconnects. For example, here, for Dungeon Masters, here you will see that there is a necromancer who looks like the bad guy. You will not encounter, characters will not encounter them here. But as they progress through the next modules, you will know that it's actually not a necromancer. It's someone else that's a necromancer. But here it's written that that guy is a necromancer. So there's a disconnect there. Also, these modules are written in a way that it looks like it has happened after the Tomb of Annihilation storyline, but that's not how it's supposed to be. Since this is a Tier 2 adventure, the Death Curse is still active. If the Death Curse is still active, then that means the story in Tomb of Annihilation, the big bad guy in Tomb of Annihilation hardcover, has not been defeated yet. So that there's a problem there. Plus, there is a plot item here that starts in Fester and Burn and goes on to the next two adventures, next two modules. And that particular plot item came from the last part of the Tomb of Annihilation, which is not supposed to be. Because, again, this story is still ongoing. Or the Tomb of Annihilation storyline is still ongoing since this adventure is Tier 2. So, it's up to you as a Dungeon Master to kinda adjust that a bit, form the story, or at least read those 3 adventures first before you run Fester and Burn, so you will have an idea how you can tell the story to your players without sounding like, oh, wait, I made a mistake in Fester and Burn. Because now here it's supposed to be like this. No? So you can make an adjustment. You can run this in a way that it's still part of the Tomb of Annihilation storyline before the final boss in the hardcover has been defeated. So there. That's the only thing that I'm not really a fan of or that I see that needs some improvement. There might be a disconnect between the authors of those 3 modules. But out of all those adventures, Fester and Burn is the strongest one. I can say that right now. I have run this, I have played it, and it's just a fun module. For a 2-hour module, the money that you'll be paying to buy this is totally worth it. It's gonna be fun if you survive. So, that's it. I hope you like my review. If you have any questions, comment down below. If I've said something that you don't agree with, comment down below. Don't worry, I won't bite. But if you are in my table, prepare to be annihilated. No, I'm just kidding, of course not. And, yeah. So, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And if there's anything that you wanna, give feedback on, you can message me as well. And that's it. Hope you guys like my review. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.